Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of Mexico, is the symbol of perfect friendship among the United Cultures.
You may be seated. Reports and public comment. Do we have any public comment? All right.
Let's start our principal's report. I see Ms. Lochner in the back of elementary.
So I'm gonna start with our data like I always do. So our teachers and staff have done an amazing job because they're working super hard. So we're not quite finished, but we're really close to finish wrapping up testing. And right now, we end of the year with 74% of our kids are above level in reading and 60% of that above level line. So we met our end of year goal. And then for math, we had 82% are above level and 64% above level. And so like that's within one of meeting our goal. So we're super excited. Everyone did a really great job. We have lots and lots of fun stuff for the last couple weeks. So we have our field day scheduled for next Wednesday, our school store, a big attendance incentive the next Friday, kindergarten graduation on the 19th, and then awards days and water days the whole rest of the last week of school. Our last house meetings and clubs are this Friday, so we're wrapping up stuff with celebrations and projects and all kinds of fun stuff. And then our attendance is up a little bit. We're at 92.6%, super close to our end of year goal of 93%, and it's just been a really great year. Staff is awesome, kids are awesome, everyone's working hard and doing great, and that's everything at the elementary.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Corona.
So at TIS, we wrapped up our NMASA testing on May 2nd, and our students are currently taking the EOI IMASA test this week. They're so wiped out and tired of testing, but they're doing a great job. Our fifth graders went to their end of the year field trip last week to the petroglyphs, and I just want to thank Mr. Lindsay for attending and spending time with our students. I think that was a great thing he did for us. Right now, our Scholastic Book Fair is going on, and it's a buy one, get one free. So please stop by and support us. This is a great opportunity for our families to purchase books for the summer. We're celebrating teachers all week this week for Teacher Appreciation Week. We're doing treats during the day, and we're having fun competitions. And obviously we're dressed up. We don't do this normally, but so it was dressed up day to day, your favorite character. But you know, you might see me dressed as Minnie all the time. Actually, our pre-K students think I'm Minnie Mouse anyway. They call me Minnie when I go into their classroom sometimes. We have a lot of fun activities planned for the end of the year. At TIS, and I attached our schedule to the email I sent Ms. Darby, so you guys can see them, maybe come attend and see what our kids are doing. And I also want to thank Cisco for taking the time out of his busy schedule to come and help me with the student and talk to him. I really appreciate your time. It's so important that you guys can make connections with our students too. So thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Burke. I didn't see you.
Enrollment.
Biggest guy in the room. I was looking for you.
Yeah, Mr. Montez had me.
Yeah, Montez.
No, I'm just kidding. Student enrollment is down a little bit at the middle school. We've had some students drop from an enrollment. We're at 209 students. Middle school has completed, same as TIS has completed our NMASA testing for ELA math and the science testing and ASR. And also the dynamic learning maths testing for alternative students, but we are finishing up tomorrow, our end of the year assessments. So that'll be done. We had students enjoy a trip to the high school with the Spanish club presentation for the Cinco de Mayo day the other day. And then our eighth graders went to their freshman orientation yesterday. So they got a taste of the high school. And I want to thank Ms. Hill for welcoming them to the high school. So we got softball playing tonight. We got some girls on the team traveling tonight. We have a eighth grader who's going to be going to state track meet next week, who competed in district with finishing first place in district for the 400 meter dash, where she's going to be competing. Her name is Lilia Big Rope, so a shout out to Lilia Big Rope. Next Wednesday, we will be welcoming Mr. Cesar Chavez, or Alvarez, to Tularosa Middle School. He's the new principal for next year. He will be welcomed along with the fifth graders, so we have a busy day next Wednesday at TMS, okay? We have, orientation for the fifth graders, next Wednesday at 2 o'clock. Awards Day for TMS will be May 22nd. For sixth grade, they'll be going first in the morning, seventh grade following, and eighth grade with their promotion ceremony after that. So, we got a lot of things going on there at the middle school. We're having fun. So,
Thank you, Mr. Burke.
Thank you.
Ms. Hill.
So it seems like the high school is just crazy right now, trying to get our seniors graduated and the rest of the guys prepared for what's coming next year. Softball girls are in Dexter tonight. They just won their first game. Boys will be playing here Friday and Saturday. And then, of course, you know, blue trophy down for both of them. Finishing off this week, we're doing dress up days just to try to keep the morale up, keep students active on that one. Even the staff, we have a giant rock, paper, scissors game going on with the staff right now. And thank you to Miss Lynn because she is our morale lady over there. Next week, we have a lot of trips going out. We have students going to UTEP for the Air and Space section. Mr. Miyoshi is taking a group of students to NMSU just to kind of keep those seniors like, hey, this is like where we can go on this one. We are also planning some professional development for the summer to finish off our innovation zones items. We did have the eighth graders over yesterday. I have to give a huge shout out to Miss Southside because she totally just let me keep going and like I just left kids at the, or like the kids got to stay with me at the high school for a little bit. So thank you, ma'am. It just went really well. As a staff, we feel really good about the changes that we're making for next year. We feel really good about our students for next year. Next Friday is our last day for credit recovery, and we're going to try to wrap that up and then put kids back into classes, in-person classes with a teacher instead of online. We have end of year things coming up, a lot of dates and times, and I'm trying to keep you guys posted on that one. But the biggest thing that's really cool is this coming Tuesday. Our seniors are doing their walkthroughs through all of the schools, and that'll start at TIS at 8:30 in the morning. And they go through all of the schools, including the top. So, anything. You guys have any questions for me?
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I have a few things that, new staff, Mr. Burke mentioned, we have a new principal, Mr. Alvarez, going through middle school. We have Bobby Grace hired, come and take Miss Lochner's spot. We're gonna miss Miss Lochner next year. She's been a fantastic administrator. And, we're lucky to have Miss Grace back. So we have some other new staff we'll bring to the board later, nothing but the principals I thought was important. We're really close to RFP for our new middle school. We are done with the document section now. Now they'll be opening it up for contractors, so we're hoping that we'll have them on board and possibly they're talking about breaking ground in September. So it's really exciting. The floor down here is the plan, so. The fence at we have the fence at the old baseball field up for bid. And we have an offer now that a group will take it here in Tularosa and put it up for the Little League baseball. So I agreed, since nobody ever bid on it, that if it goes to Tularosa, I'm sure the board would agree to that. It'll be used for kids, and otherwise it's gonna get rolled up by contractors and thrown away, so I'd rather give it to the youth of Tularosa. I gave you a form for the next board meeting on the new Student Success Center that Mr. Burke will be running. That's a very rough draft. We've got a lot of tweaking to do, but something to get you thinking about how we're gonna operate the new Student Success Center. And bond, in June, Stifle will be here, so it's time to go out to bond again in November. It's the same as November, same voting day as the election, so November 6th, whatever that is. So Stifle will be here. Mr. Montes is here tonight, and there are too many to list. But, he's taken his group every year to Washington, and, this year we forgot to put it on the board agenda for out-of-state travel. And so, I don't know if we can, you're gonna give me permission to let him go. We let him go every year. He has a grant that goes to Washington. And, so he does have how many, Mr. Montes, are you taking?
There's 3 students that'll be going to Washington, so
And that's an every year deal, so if we need to come back with a special board meeting, we can. It'll be a 3-minute board meeting, we can decide something online. And he also has. The state convention coming up in June, and these are all the kids that are getting awards. At the state convention and times like. There's just a bunch, so. Finalists and lots of things. Ag processing, beef entrepreneurship, diversified crop production, diversified livestock production, green and ag placement. Science entrepreneurship, forest management, swine production, poultry production, sheep production, and that's just another great job, Mr. Montes, for engaging these kids, and you've had a fantastic year with all your state deals, so. Thank you, Mr. Montes. And with that, I will pass it back to you, Madam President. Let's do the check. We do have First Savings Bank. I'm sorry. Come on up. This is a big check this year for us too.
gotta take care of big thing.
Anyway, if anybody doesn't know, if you have a First Savings account or a First Savings card, every time you use your debit card, the school gets money back, like mine's a Wildcat card. And this is the proceeds we get from those debit cards every year, so.
This year, we're donating $1,000 to the Cooley School. That's for swipes that you guys do, and I really appreciate it. And if you could have everybody sign that for me, please.
Yes, I will, and you're gonna get a picture with our board, right?
That's what that paper is designed, it's a social media consent.
Okay.
So we can put your picture on Facebook.
I'll have it to you in moments. So,
Perfect.
you guys are done, sign this so she can, I can bring it to the bank for you tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay. Mr. Regular discussion.
Where are we gonna say?
How do you want this work?
Whichever.
Hold the check. Everybody in close. I shouted today.
Perfect. Thank you guys so much. I
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Lindsay, thank you.
You bet, we'll see you tomorrow, I'll bring you that.
Sounds good. Thank you guys.
You guys want to stay down there? Okay. The next on the agenda is the New Mexico School Board Association Student Achievement Award Plaque. And we have a bunch, and that's why a bunch of you are here tonight. I'm gonna call everybody's name up, and then I do want to read this just real fast.
I was just gonna say.
You want that? I have 2 of them. Thank you so much. Actually, I'm gonna just say your name as I read it, and when we're done, you can come up now, or you can come up after I read it. We're very proud to recognize the following outstanding individuals whose dedication and service have elevated student success across our district. Lizzie Chavez, Lynn Hooper, Yadi Padilla, and Nikki Gillian, school secretaries. These exceptional women are the heart of their schools. As the first faces parents and students see, they manage daily operations with grace, greet every visitor with warmth, and juggle a wide range of responsibilities from coordinated student appointments to supporting staff and faculty. Their knowledge of each school's inner workings make them indispensable to our success. Chase Montes, Ag Instructor, Two Roads High School. Mr. Montes goes above and beyond every day to grow the ag program, dedicating countless evenings and weekends to training students. His commitment has not only built a strong FFA chapter, but also developed a young leaders rooted in discipline and responsibility. Monica Corona, acting principal, Tula Rosa Intermediate School. Ms. Corona has stepped in with strong leadership, cultivating a school culture centered on teamwork, collaboration, and respect. Her positive influence has been instrumental in fostering a united and effective staff. Michael Filicetti, PE teacher, football and powerlifting coach. Coach Filicetti brings energy and inspiration to every student he teaches. Whether on the field, in the weight room, or in the PE class, he mentors students to reach their fullest potential with a commitment that goes far beyond the classroom. Rebecca Norris, I don't see Rebecca tonight. Miss Norris has embraced the Ron Park Academy. I didn't say it. You're hidden there.
It's because I don't have the blue hair.
That's maybe, you still have the tutu on?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Anyway, I'm sorry, Miss Norris. Her book fairs have been, oh, I'm sorry, I shut back up. A Thriving House program that embodies school pride and student engagement. Her book fairs have been a resounding success, and her can-do attitude has inspired both staff and students alike. Rafina Filicetti, pre-K coordinator. Ms. Filicetti has taken on the important task of building and expanding our pre-K program. Through patience, creativity, and compassion, she has helped our youngest learners adjust to school life, laying the foundations for their future academic success. And even when they're checking out each other's chonies, I understand. I thought that was a great story, so I had to bring that up. Andy Versuelis, my teacher. With professionalism and tireless work ethic, I'm sorry, man, I got. Mr. Versuelis ensures nearly 1,000 students, 140 staff remain connected and equipped with working technology every day. His support keeps our schools running smoothly and our digital classrooms thriving. Marion Wilbemuth, Central Office Receptionist and Operations Assistant. Marion is a welcoming voice at Central Office and a true multitasker, coordinating mail, managing purchase orders, and much more. Her years of experience and valued input have made our office more efficient, positive, and welcoming to all. So with that, if you would come up, I said your name, and we appreciate all of you.
Okay, here's the story.
That was a great story. Mr. Rhoda could tell you.
Thank you.
Hey, don't leave, we gotta get your picture for a picture.
Gotta get your picture. Short people in front.
I'm tall.
I finally get this. Thank you.
Come on, Nick, you got it.
You guys are smiling
We need a countdown.
Sorry, we're all in.
I mean, I took like 6, so one of them you'll have.
The rest of the meeting is all business, so if you guys really don't want to stay, principal, whatever, you're. Especially principals are.
Thank you.
I know these guys are. You guys, thank you guys very much time for it.
Thank you.
One day I'll hear the cats and underpants story. Thank you.
I got to
Boy, thank you guys.
Brian's under Tony.
Beauty of innocence, man.
All right, where were we?
Well, I think, board communications.
To stay in the office.
There's
One thing. The policy we made for field trips. You have covered.
I could put a.
Go for it.
Okay, I was gonna say it is on there. board communications, I don't know, you just pulled up the invitation for all the spring sports banquets.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you guys look at that?
Yes, ma'am.
If anybody can make it. Yeah, tomorrow night. And then Tuesdays, the track, powerlifting Wednesday. Softball will be Monday, baseball Wednesday.
Think I can do dinner
Graduation.
4 nights there.
That's a good way to think.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Moving on to business. All right, consideration of agenda.
Yes, Madam President, members of the board, I'm recommending approval of the consideration of the agenda.
No motion?
There's been a motion and a second, motion passes. Consideration of March minutes, regular meeting with the executive session, April 16th, 2025.
Yes, Madam President, members of the board, I'm recommending approval of the minutes for the April 16, 2025 regular meeting with executive session.
I'll make a motion. I'll second.
There's been a motion and a second, motion passes. Consideration of the auction of the 1988 maintenance truck.
Check register.
Oh, sorry, I skipped. Consideration of March check register, April 2025.
Yes, Madam President, members of the board, I'm recommending approval of the check register for April 2025. If you have any questions, we have Mr. Bregler here that can pull it up on the screen for any questions.
I think you answered that prior to the meeting, so I'm good. As everybody else already? I'm good. Already motion?
There's been a motion and a second, motion passes. Right now, considering the auction of the 1980 maintenance truck.
Madam President, members of the board, I'm recommending approval of the auction of the 1988 maintenance truck. It is outdated. And we do have permission from the state auditor to go ahead and auction the truck off for the next meeting with your approval.
I'll second.
There's been a motion and a second, motion passes. Consideration of school year 25-26 school calendar.
Yes, Madam President, members of the board, I'm recommending approval of school year 25-26 school calendar. If there's any questions, we have several people that can answer. Can you pull up the calendar, Mr.
I don't have it on me, it's.
Did they, when they voted on A and B, can you tell us which one, what you vote won? Was it A that won or?
A won significantly.
Okay.
Significantly. Okay.
And that is a 4-day week schedule?
And my question was holiday weeks. It looks like that's.
Well, one thing I didn't know is if they have a holiday on a Monday, they go to school on Friday, they
Correct.
make up that.
Yeah,
I think it only happens like on that calendar, what, like.
3 times.
3 times.
yeah.
President's Day.
Thanksgiving isn't an issue. Christmas.
Where did spring break end up?
Spring break was March 23rd through 27th, and then we come back for a week, and then we have that extended break for Easter.
You know.
That's-
And 20.
Graduation's gonna fall on a Thursday again?
Correct. Should be May 21st.
Nothing from anyone? Question?
Motion second.
I'll go to motion. I'll second.
Been a motion and a second, motion passes. All right, discussion, consideration of student participation in field trips, grades K-8 policy.
Madam President, members of the board, I'm recommending approval of the student participation in field trips. I sent you the policy to review, and I'm here if you have any questions on that one. And it's up on the board.
And the main discussion was just over attendance issue.
Right, I just personally feel that, kids K through 8 aren't responsible to get themselves to school, so if they're absent, it's not always a
On
younger
the student's
kid's
problem.
It's normally a parent that's not getting them to school. And so, and my phone rings all the time from parents on this issue, so. I just thought we needed to make it a policy and we all follow the policy.
Therefore, we will not. It's not a form of punishment.
Right, if it's a field trip, it should be educational and everybody should go.
Correct.
And if we have problem students, we should send people with them to take care of it.
Yes, sir.
Even attendance or discipline, whatever it is, if it's educational, it needs to be educational across the board.
Right.
Now, if it's students with, just example.
If they don't wanna go, that's different.
Okay, but if it's a student that regularly, rides the bus, we'll say, and they are missing it,
Right.
And that's,
would that fall under like your decision on whether or not to let them go?
I think we'd have to do case by case, but if they ride the bus, it's still a parent's responsibility to get that student on the bus. And if they're sick, I mean, every one of you guys had small kids or have had small kids, and when they're sick, they're sick.
Yes.
And, if you miss a few days being sick, it's just what it is.
all right.
No, second.
Alright, there's been a motion and a second, motion passes. Discussion and consideration of revision of leave policy G 2900.
Yeah, Madam President, members of the board, I'm recommending approval of the leave policy G 2900. Actually, a revision of the leave policy 2900. My thoughts on this, it says, and I'm gonna read it out loud, the employee may remain in the district's group health insurance by paying 100% of the premiums of such benefits while on approved extended leave or employer share of the premiums as provided by law. Premium payments must be made at the time specified by the district. Failure to make payment will cause termination of benefits. What's happening is we have a few people out on leave. They do get their disability, but it's only 66%, I believe, of that disability. This puts a hardship on them when they're trying to keep their insurance up and they're on long-term, Family Medical Leave Act, or Shania is one, she's pregnant, she's gotta be home with her baby. We have another one that has a health crisis. And this puts a big burden on those people to pay their health benefits, and if they don't pay them, they can't go back to the doctor where they need to be. It's not a lot of money at all, and it don't happen a lot, but it does happen to a few employees. So I think we need to take care of our people that work for us and pay their premiums if they're sick or in need until they get the help. It's just a big burden on some of these people to come
Yes,
up, even if it's $60 or $70 to come pay those burdens, because they're only getting 66% of their paycheck if they have disability. And so I think it's to take care of our people. If we love our people, we're gonna be a big family, we need to take care of our people. I just feel this is just taking care of our people and helping them out. And, I actually, and that's my thoughts, and, I know I visited with Miss Karen on this, sorry. And, it's just something I feel strongly on.
I agree with you.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Alright, there's been a motion and a second, motion passes. Alright, discussion and consideration of revision of leave donation policy.
Yeah, Madam President, members of the board, I'm recommending approval of the revision of the leave policy, leave donation policy. And I'm not gonna go through it word by word, but in essence, if, the Miss Adetite, the teacher, decides she wants to give some of her sick days away to another teacher, she can. But if, she wanted to give them to Mr. Regular, she couldn't. What she shouldn't, that'd be passing up. But say, Miss Adetite wanted to give them to an EA, she can't because she can't pass her leave days down. So in this policy, what I'm trying to do is make it where we can pass leave down, but you can go vertical or down, you can't go up.
Yes,
And it's a money thing, it's for accounting purposes, Mr. Beckler. For instance, should be able to give my sick days to anybody in the district because, but not everybody can give them to me, when that's fine. I think we should be able to pass vertically or down, not be able to give sick days away. I just think it's something, again, take care of our staff and, it's hard I have a lot of sick days, I'm never sick, but I can't give my sick days, I can't help somebody out
right.
with leave.
That's how it is at our.
This isn't an accounting issue.
It could be, I think we should check with our auditors first on that, because I know our previous auditors even had a problem with.
But if it's in our leave, auditors can't say nothing about it. It's in
Yeah,
our
I don't
policy,
agree.
they don't have nothing to say about it.
They absolutely can.
No, they can't, it's in our policy.
If it's something that's violating some kind of your rule or something, it does, just because it's in our policy, doesn't mean it can't be an audit issue.
Because they, okay.
But it's like that in majority of the organizations.
But it was state police, we're allowed to do it as long as.
I'm not saying I don't disagree with it, I just wanna make sure that, it's not gonna be an issue if we change it.
That's why I asked, because I've seen this come up in other organizations also, so I don't know, as far as the state's concerned. As far as auditing is concerned, if that's gonna be an issue with this. Yes, ma'am.
I just want to ask something because, like, I've been with the district for 19 years now, and the majority of my leave was not earned being an administrator. And so being an administrator, I had the option of 5 people helping me out in the district if I absolutely need this. But what I'm saying is, like, the majority of my leave was built as a teacher. And so, like, we're being faced right now with, I can't help teachers, even though the leave that I've earned was earned as a teacher on that one.
Oh,
So that's where, like, I'm a little confused on this one, is that an administrator can help me out, but they're not on this, we're all not on the same pay scale on that one, because we have a responsibility factor on that one. Whereas it's kind of mind boggling to me that at my pay scale, I can't help somebody that's like a custodian.
but. I'm,
So you could approve it and then we could check with the auditors
Yeah.
and then we can bring it back for further
I
discussion.
would be
That
okay
way,
with that. Okay. If that's the case, then I'll make a motion.
No, second.
There's been a motion and a second, motion passes.
yeah.
All right, consideration of block schedule.
Yes, Madam President, members of the board, I'm glad the spotlight is off me now. I recommend approval of the block schedule. You guys have all had a chance to review it. We have, there's a few of us here that can answer questions, if there is any questions on the block schedule. At the high school only, I should state.
No, yes.
So this will only be at the high school?
Yes. Yes,
So they'll do how many classes a semester?
they'll do 4 a semester, 8 a year.
In a year, and does this affect their, credits they need for
Yes,
graduation?
well, for example, for Sterling's years coming in, she'll be on what we would call a new schedule. So she would have to have 27 credits to graduate. Instead of the students that have graduated now will have to have 24. She'll have an opportunity to earn 32 credits in the 4 years though.
Okay. And so what about like your dual credits, like when you're doing the college classes, that they'll work the same way? Okay,
Yeah, and all it really is doing is you're doing an hour and a half in the class, so you're done at Christmas time and you start a brand new class.
right, I just wanna know what all it will affect with the changes in the schedule.
Actually, the kids will have, 4 classes a day, pretty much, and one of them could be a split with a athletic PE or something like that, but Am I right, Jody, there?
And how will their day be formatted? Do you know?
They'll go, starting at 7:50, they'll start first period breakfast. Second period advisory for lunch start for Sterling first, and then she'll come back and do advisory. Third, fourth, in the day, and then the end of the day at 3:50.
3:50, so 7:50 to 3:50, which is pretty much what they're doing.
It's close,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we're only doing it at the high school. We're gonna see how it goes and work it out. And when the middle school gets more settled, maybe when we move to the new middle school, it'll be up to middle school staff to see if they like that and wanna to take that on. A lot of middle schools do it and so, but we wanna get really good at it with one school and then 4 weeks.
So no problem for college, but they'll also have 5 scratch credits basically for the kids that are.
Could have, and a bunch of those they can use for their capstone projects. They can do a lot of different things too, so. There's a lot more opportunities for a kid, for a student.
You're getting their attention
And
for a
your
longer period of
focus,
time.
yeah, you know, if you're in a lab science or something like that, you actually have time in that class to do the lab with the lesson. Mr. Montes, for example, welding class,
Right,
you barely get a welder out, get your gear on, get your
Weld the
stuff
safety
laid on the
stuff.
floor, weld 10 minutes, it's time to pick up, clean up and go out of the room. This gives more time, especially classes like that.
So will there be any issues with like sports and stuff and missing class, because they're gonna have half as many days?
No,
So if they're, you know what I mean, if they're flexing out for
Yeah.
sports days.
So like the athletics is the same thing on that one, but there's that rule that they can't miss more than so many days with sports. That's a whole NMAA rule on that one.
Right. I'm just saying like, you know,
For
if you only have classes for 1 semester, then you're missing twice as much of that
those
classroom
afternoon
time.
classes.
If
Is
you,
it, is a day or is a day 2 days?
yeah,
Like
Day and a
days.
half.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
But
so,
that's why we're doing the 4x4 like we're doing instead of like a traditional block schedule, because a traditional block schedule is like, you go to these classes Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then the other classes Tuesday and Thursday. And so most of our games are like Tuesday, Thursday. And so then that's how kids start failing
Right.
because
Miss the same
Exactly.
class
Yeah.
over and
Yeah.
over again.
so how will it be formatted?
it will be a 4x4. They go to 4 classes every day
Oh,
for.
Perfect, so they won't miss like the same one, 'cause-
Yeah, and so then, in that 90-minute block or period, it'll be time for guided practice in there and things like that, where if a kid is missing school, they are gonna have to take stuff home, but we shouldn't be sending anything home.
That was gonna be my other question. Well, hopefully will this decrease the homework? Cause I know that when they do miss school, when they get a big load going home, these kids who are active with their extracurriculars.
So the
Then
only
will
time
this
that
give them
they
more
should have
classroom time?
stuff going home is when they are missing class.
Okay, so they'll have more classroom
more
work time.
more classroom.
Yes. That's the plan.
Which also brings up, I guess I should say this, it is in our handbook and it has been in our handbook, but this year with the block schedule, with it being basically if they miss a day, it's like missing 2 days. We're gonna have to really stick to our attendance policy and stick to that 10-day rule about appealing for credit when they're missing 10 days.
So we said Tier C was on the block schedule my whole 19 years there. And none of those issues were ever an issue, missing too much school, that kind of stuff for
I
sports.
just wanna understand it.
Yeah. We had a student one time, well, it's a long story, she's an FFA state officer and a 4-H state officer. And we, straight A student, and she almost lost credits, but she was gone so much with FFA and 4-H, she was missing those classes. And 4-H isn't an NMAA sanction. FFA is now, it wasn't
Right.
then. So.
Thank you. You filled in some gaps for me that I wasn't quite sure of either, so thank you.
Any more questions on the block schedule? Yeah.
I do not know.
A motion.
There's been a motion and a second, motion passes. Consideration of Title IV application.
Yeah, Madam President, members of the board, I'm recommending approval of the Title IV application. And if you have any questions, Mr. Bregler, it's something we do every year. It's,
Right.
not Mr. Bregler, I'm sorry, manager Bregler. You know, Tom's like-
I didn't prepare for that.
Everybody,
It's a.
it's a
every year thing.
usual, right.
Right, all three, the 1, 2, and 3 is coming up, we're all four.
As I'm reading, as I was reading through this, so it was familiar. From
Now, these are fast, every
Right.
year it's the same, we have to redo them every year, don't we?
Why is, that's just,
Yeah.
ESA.
Right. Yeah, it's, they're all different monies from different programs.
Different I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
And a motion and a second, motion passes. Consideration of the Title I application.
Yeah, Madam President, members of the board, I'm recommending approval of Title I application.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, thank you. We discussed it in executive session. Yeah. Second,
There's been a motion and a second, motion passes. Consideration of Title II application.
Yeah, Madam President, members of the board, I'm recommending approval of the Title II application.
it's not on that. Yeah. I'm good.
Motion.
I'll second.
Been a motion and a second, motion passes. Consideration of rural and low income grant.
Yeah, Madam President, members of the board, I'm recommending approval of the rural and low income grant application. That's another one we have to do every year for,
Yes, sir, no, it's,
I don't know what the amount is right now, but. I used to know all these, then I hired Shelley.
I guess I didn't know all the numbers.
But this is a yearly thing, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's another one. I just don't have numbers on it,
I would
but.
leave it over with simple motion, but it's.
Yeah.
And,
Right.
and I'm not sure we've got the stuff back
Particulars.
on it yet, because we're still, this is the approval of the application.
Right,
And she was unable to print the application. It was not being a user friendly deal. That's why there's not a link to that one.
Naomi just motioned. and-
do we need a motion to approve
There's
an
been a motion
application?
and a second. Motion
Yes.
passes.
Yeah, for all that.
I just find that
But that way, when it
very
comes back.
governmental.
Yeah, no kidding.
All right,
Consideration of stipends
Yeah, Madam President, members of the board recommend approval of stipends that came from a new rule that we have to every year approve all stipends, and I think we put a list up. Was the last board meeting we had a list up on the
Yeah.
board for you?
This is one, this is for the MLS.
This is different, correct?
Yeah,
MLSS.
the different list.
And how often we just did some a while back. that's-
Right, yeah, and this is just the
And we pay these every year.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
we just hadn't done them yet.
I've already read over that, so I'll make a motion.
One second.
In a motion, second, motion passes. Okay, consideration of high school student handbook.
Yeah, Madam President, members of the board recommended approval of the high school student handbook, and we do have Miss Hill here if there's any questions on the changes to the handbook. We really need to get this one done though, so we can get it published. Jody, am I right? Most of the changes are coming, oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I just did a lot of like cleanup on that one. Manny, can I look at your, cause I can't see very good. Down. So right there, we did, the school, purchases insurance for, students now, so we took that out, that students have to
Yes.
carry it. So we changed that one in there. We put in there that, additional staff will be trained with the district's telehealth services. It's just not the nurse now.
And that's available to all staff and students, right?
Yes.
Thank you.
And then, we just clarified during designated times, that way we're not having to switch it, like if our schedule switches every year, it's just a designated breakfast and lunch time. Instead of actually putting in a time, the attendance or our, schedule on that one. We changed the 5 minutes, okay. Just clarifying, check in and out policies on this one. I'm trying to condense it a little bit, where it's not so wordy. And then that one's just putting in there, please also refer to the no credit appeal, because that one is already in our handbook that's been approved, is the for appealing for credit. Stating in their students with 10 or more absences, excused, unexcused in a semester, will be required to appeal for credit with the school's appeal committee, and that's just in the attendance policy. So we go with what the state has. This is exactly what the state tells us that we have to do. So then I just added that blurb in there at 10. Oh, yeah, sorry. Like, what are you doing?
Excessive absence.
So on this one is when they get to 14 days, it says, and begin the credit recovery process on that one. We don't want to just assume kids are going into the credit recovery on that one. If they do not, if the appeal team decides, no, they haven't had enough seat time, they need to do this. We don't want them to say, oh, well, we're just gonna go on to Edgenuity. With the block schedule, we want kids in person with a teacher. So we would like students to go into those classes in the following semester. So we took out where they'll begin their credit recovery. They'll just go back into those classes on that one. And then we would like to reserve credit recovery, go back to credit recovery just for that senior option where they literally cannot make up enough credit to make it to May. So that's when we'll use the online program.
CYFD. After 20 days.
That one I took out for the juvenile citation program, because that one students get that referral at 14 days, not at 28. All right, it's like 50 pages we have to go through every year. They'll do it at the end of each semester.
Course will be expected to make up requirements by completing the course quality. Okay, so that's just restating that it's not just going straight into credit recovery. They're going to the class the following semester, or they can choose to purchase credit recovery at the end. Schedules and schedule changes. This is probably where we start getting into the most changes. Our CTE programs, a lot of their funding is based off of Perkins and Next Gen money. Even innovation zones, when we're doing end of year reporting, we're actually kind of like kicking ourselves because seniors can, if they're on track and they just need 2 classes each semester, they can be in 51% of the day and then we release them. Well, we're kicking ourselves in the foot when we're releasing students and they haven't finished a capstone project, because that's how we get a lot of our funding is students are finishing like a 3 progression CTE course sequence. So with that being said, we would like to make it a requirement that seniors, to get that modified schedule, 51% of the day, they have to have a capstone project in place, like they're doing it, or they have had to already do it. So our CTE course progressions were put in place 3 years ago by Shara Montoya. So right now you would think, oh, we have 300 students at the high school. We should probably have 100+ students finishing CTE capstones. We have 12. So we want to up that. And so that's where we want to have them in here. And so when we get down to the CTE course progressions, we want to, of course, educate our students that they have to be taking these courses in order, because we have kids that treated them like elective classes and are like, oh, we'll do this one and then we'll do this one. And it's not like that. They're going to be in a very sequential order. And then we're kind of like, no, you are going to be a capstone.
Yeah.
So dual credit courses, that students that go into that dual credit courses count as part of their day. So if they're taking 0199 ag dual credit, but they're taking it at the college, that counts as part of their 51% of the day. So even if they take it online, that's still part of their 51%. And that's just going through and saying that with credit recovery, students must be a Tularosa High School senior graduating in May. So it's not going to be any more of this, like, we're going to try to get the kids and kind of get them on track. We've been doing that for 3 years. I think we have a really good handle on it. And so now, if a student's missing a course, we're going to put them in the actual course with a teacher.
If there's time.
If there's time.
And so. That was an issue after COVID, I'm assuming. Right.
Oh, yeah. Very, very extensive. The student will complete credit recovery independently outside of the school day. We took that out because we will actually have a class period for them. We actually have a class period for dual credit, and we'll have 2 classes in the fall where students that need to take credit recovery can be in that class, or in the spring, it'll go down to 1. State testing on this one, there was a little bit of changes with the New Mexico graduation requirements. Since COVID, it hasn't been the students just have to take the SAT and the NMASR, which is still in place on that one. But they just are required to take their short cycle assessments. There's not a cut score or anything on that one. I have just been telling students that if they take an early graduation option, that is one consideration that me and the board would consider, is not just, oh, they've met the graduation requirements. We would also look at their testing as well on that one.
Do you think SATs are a requirement now?
Well, they just have to take it. It's not like there's no, like, you have to, before COVID, they had to score a certain score on the SAT and the NMASR. And if they didn't, they had to go through their end of year not end of year, end of course exams, and they've had to been able to pass one of them in 4 years. But since COVID, they did away with those requirements. And then this one's just clarifying graduation requirements because next year our seniors, juniors, and sophomores will have one set of graduation requirements. And then if you scroll down, our freshmen will have this set of required courses. And this is the one that I went over last meeting where they have to have the 27 credits and then it's broke down exactly what they need. And then this is what we also went over with our kids, our 8th graders yesterday. This one is the valedictorian and salutatorian on this one. No, just go back up a little bit, sorry. When we started, where it wasn't just getting ranked first, they had to meet like certain requirements on it. Our whole goal was to keep progressively getting to where we're raising that bar for these students. And so with this one, we changed that we don't offer AP English at the high school. So one of their credits has to be honors English or dual enrollment. Since we don't offer AP English, the English 12 honors we have students, they need to test into English 1110 with one of our colleges. So if they're ready for an honors class in 12th grade, they should be dual crediting it. Same with math. We took out pre-calculus on that one because we want our students taking dual credit math in college algebra. And then we would, the last thing I put in there is the 3 credits in a CTE course progression. That's where they have the introduction, the concentrator, and capstone. And students, our seniors next year can do that because every single one of them have had at least an introductory course in a CTE class. And so if they would like to be considered for valedictorian and salutatorian, they need to consider making sure they have a concentrator and their capstone on that one. And that to me is important on that one because we are pushing the level of classes, but I think putting that CTE course progression in there, we are creating a well-rounded valedictorian and salutatorian. And these ones are not in, like, I kept the career clusters in red, but if you keep scrolling just a little bit, I modified this a little bit from Shara's that she presented to us. So I did put the middle school exploration on there, and I did that because I think it's going to help the middle school out a lot because they can see what courses they have to provide at the middle school to receive Perkins and Next Gen funding as well. So like, for example, this progression right here is your agriculture, and these are all updated with the national CTE course progressions because New Mexico decided that we were going to be the first to make sure that we were on this progression. So we had to have this implemented for the next school year. So this career cluster is agriculture. The subcluster is agricultural technology and automation. So this one will be in our Perkins Next Gen grant that we're applying for. So at the high school, students can start off into intro into AFNR, or as a sophomore, they can do intro to ag mechanics. But to get money, this is where Chase's program gets money, is offering this course progression. But Alicia Day's program gets money when she offers these classes over here. So it's just kind of simplifying and getting kids to understand that they have to take this class, then this class, and then this class. They can't start here, bounce back here, and then come over here because it's not a CTE completer. So that all changed from the last handbook, but it's just meeting those national standards. That's it, right? Oh, development of positive attitudes. Not just attitudes.
You're talking about it now?
Yeah. I put positive in there and I was all, we put positive in there instead of developing attitudes. Oh, so this is, we changed some of this on the higher ups, go down. We're trying to get away from out of school suspensions. So, if you keep going down, there's still OSSs in there, but, instead of like jumping from 5-day OSS, and then going straight into 9 days pending a long-term suspension, we're trying to get another step in there where it's the 7 days OSS.
And we do have Mr. Burke for some of that.
Try not to lose kids right at that point.
When you miss 9 days of school, you're behind,
Yeah.
especially.
Oh, yeah.
And we did do training on restorative justice. And we've been like throwing it out there to some of our kids and just kind of playing around with it, and it has been super positive. So it's one of those where the kids like it, the parents like it, and then the teachers like it because they're not, I know there's situations that occur that, no, you're not going back into that classroom, absolutely not. But some of those that where it's like, we're gonna give you a second chance, like, but we're gonna talk about it. It's been positive. Well, and we try not to do a whole case by case on that one because kids at the high school like to be like, well, you did this for so-and-so, what are you gonna do on this one? And like with a matrix, it's really black and white on that one. But when we can implement restorative justice, we would like to go that route rather than, oh, you got caught vaping, bam, 5 days. Like, we don't.
Yeah.
The vaping is killing our kids on their grades, their credits. And I'm not trying to say that I'm okay with it, but I feel like we're fighting a losing battle on that one by kicking kids out. I would rather, go to a training, talk about the effects of it, and then get them back into class. Oh, that's just the policy that we already gave to the board. We just put it in ours.
There's some videos. One break is what, 200 seconds.
Have any questions?
Oh,
Oh, sorry.
Perfect for that.
Manny, next time I need that timer for next deal.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Had a birthday.
Thank you.
Really good thing.
Thank you, Jody.
Yes,
Will motion?
I'll second.
There's been a motion, second, motion passes. All in favor? All in favor? Alright.
I'll ask you.
They did it. I think they.
Oh, well. If anybody would oppose, they could have said something.
Yeah, could have said.
I didn't notice it till just then I know it's you're
Okay,
supposed to help you out.
discussion, bars, board report and cafeteria update.
Yeah, Madam President, members of the board, we have Mr. Bregler here for bars, CNC, board report and cafeteria updates.
All right, just one bar. This was a final award for our next gen grant. We got an additional $8,800. Nothing about the cafeteria, and I'm not gonna really touch on anything in the board report unless you had any questions, because you're getting ready for next year now.
Right.
So,
Right.
so I'll keep it short and sweet.
Thank you, Ms. Bregler. Did 4.2.
Yeah, we did talk about it.
And we have done 4.3, I believe, with graduation, I believe, to it, unless there's any questions. We've been through that. Item 4.4 is bus barn Mescalero. Before the meeting, I gave you guys, you talked with this, Mr. Sines is here for any questions. We have an offer to lease real property. Mr. Sines has been working really hard on this and Ms. Edwards. And so, it's just a discussion item tonight, so
Right.
anyway,
No, she's asking, how many graduates is that? What Jody just left?
we have 60,
How much? 60.
And practice is, well, we're gonna go over that in a second.
Right.
She sent me the email. already.
Yeah.
Did you get it?
Good. Bus barn in Mescalero, we have Mr. Science here tonight. I gave you guys a copy of the proposal by Mr. Blazer to rent a bus barn in Mescalero, and that does come with everything, and he is paying the utilities. And Mr. Science, and you can go on, but it's gonna save us like somewhere around $9,000. It costs about go ahead, Sandy, you could probably explain it better than me.
Had Mr. Blazer been, getting a deal to, makes more sense, cause he already has a barn set up over there. Basically, what we're doing is we're renting space for 5 buses for 9 months. And we're also renting his lot, but it's gonna be a year-round deal, so we're not gonna get a break for the 2.5 months. We're still gonna have to pay that rent, but we'll end up renting his lot. He's gonna go ahead and take care of the propane, he'll take care of the electricity, he'll take care of the maintenance and the upkeep of his office complex that he's using now. And drivers right now, what they're doing up there is they're going up there and Mr. Blazer's the one that pre-checks their buses, but now that Miss Shawn is aboard, we're gonna start pre-checking our buses. So there's not gonna be a Kenny up there starting the buses and pre-checking. So they're gonna have to start pre-checking the buses, but while their buses are warming up, they're gonna need a place to land to warm up, cause it could be snowing outside, it could be 20 degrees outside. And I think this makes the most sense. The dollar amount that he gave us, I was crunching numbers with Mr. Lindsay. And I think Miss Amanda, we were crunching numbers and it's practical. I think it's very feasible, cause if we were to set something up somewhere else, and Sean brought up a very good point. If we set something up, it's gonna have to have a porta potty somewhere else. And it's kind of bad to go to a porta potty when it's 20 degrees outside, especially for ladies, you know, so it just lends itself to do this and this lends itself a whole lot better. If we drive the buses back and forth, Mr. Lindsay was talking about that. You guys gotta keep in mind that each bus, we're putting another 40 miles a day on each bus. And you divide that by 7 miles to the gallon, then multiply that times an average of $3 to $3.50 a gallon, depending on where diesel is. The numbers add up very quickly. And we're also, by doing so, we're shortening the life of those buses. We have to keep those buses for 12 years. So if you add those times going back and forth, we're actually putting another 70,000 on that bus, 70,000 miles on that bus. So that's a chunk of change, and that's a lot of money that we're spending that we don't need to spend. And by renting this, I think I crunched numbers with Tom Bregler one morning, and I think in 1 year, it would be like $15,000 is what it would cost us to drive the buses back and forth.
Before you put it, without anybody on it.
Yeah, with nobody on it, it'd be deadhead miles. See, we don't get, the state doesn't pay you for deadhead. They pay you from the time that you pick up the first kid till the time you drop the last kid off. So you don't get any money. So that 40 miles is money the district has to absorb, or they have to absorb it within the contract or the bus contract or whatever. And if they run short, well, they run short, but it's something that we'd have to absorb. So the numbers I was coming up with Tom was somewhere around 15 or 16,000 if we drove them back and forth. Versus I think Mr. Blazer was giving us a quote of 9,000 with a 10-year option. Renewable yearly. So it's not necessarily that we have to be sucked into this, because it's a yearly contract that's renewed. So if another thing comes up, something better comes up. Mr. Lindsay also had an idea that possibly maybe we could talk to the tribe. Maybe for right now, we'll do it with Mr. Blazer, but maybe we could talk to the tribe and maybe we could park the buses somewhere on tribe grounds on either the community center or somewhere, but we still have to have facilities for the drivers to be able to go in, and I don't think most of those buildings are gonna be open at 6 in the morning when these guys show up.
Yeah, this is our easiest transition.
Seems to be.
Yeah. So, I don't know if you guys have any questions or,
I think you answered.
and it's just a discussion matter, just to bring it to your all's attention that this is the kind of direction we're going, and Miss Shawn's been working diligently, and she's been working very hard on this. We're trying to get this transition just to be as smooth as possible. I'm sure there's gonna be some hiccups and some speed bumps that we're gonna hit. But I think for right now, I think, we're a little bit behind the 8 ball, but I think we're gonna be able to catch up.
Hey, Andy, while you're there, the next item is Russ. Can't even say, Russ appraisals. I don't know where I got there.
I'll let
Put a couple
Sean-
words together there, but.
I'll let Sean talk
Okay.
about that one because she's kind of spearheaded that one. She's the one that's got the appraisals and stuff, and she can tell you what she's done on that.
We have to get 3 appraisals from the dealers. So we have Lone Star, Hillary, and Roberts. And we finally were able to get, it took a little bit of poking to get them to finally, in fact, the last one came in Friday evening. But we finally did get those. We sent them up to Alyssa in the state and they run the numbers for us. My understanding is that they will go with the lowest appraisal that we got. And then they'll generate it through their formula. It's convoluted to me. I'm not exactly sure how it works, but I know that they calculate the appraisal of the buses and then they factor in how many more years of service those buses have. And that's the number that they'll come back with. So when we present that to Mr. Blazer, that's not gonna have anything to do with, you know, bargaining with us. It's whatever the state says.
It is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. And generally, I hate to say, it doesn't, the way the state has it set up, it doesn't usually work out very well for the contractor, unfortunately. I don't know what it's gonna look like. Sometimes it's, a difficult thing when you're looking at a newer fleet. And his fleet is pretty young. He doesn't have a lot of older buses. In fact, we have the 2 that just came on line in October. And they valued out between the 3 appraisals anywhere from $90,000 to $95,000 each. And again, they run all that through the magic formula and then they come up with their numbers. So we'll just have to wait and see what Alyssa comes back with. To find out. And I know Andy and I talked, we have one bus, or Kenny has one bus that we won't be looking into because it's out next fall. Its life is over, so. And so it's bus number 9 of Kenny's and that one has been slated for renewal. It's already in the works, in the state, so unfortunately though.
This other way, we can pick them all up at one time. I don't have to have staff waiting at the school for it. We can just take them and start delivering kids.
Kids waiting
Yeah, actually, Sean will take care of that when it comes in, the state will tell us and she'll
There's
request
nothing
that
there.
bus, so.
And they've made the standards a lot more lenient. It's a lot, it used to be, if you were losing a 47, you had to get a 47. And it was a big deal to request anything bigger, but they've kind of extended that out where they've got smaller ones, medium, and so it's not gonna be that much of a difference. I think we can go bigger. And as far as that route's concerned, I'm still trying to get numbers and of course, we don't really have the numbers for next year to see who's gonna be riding, but we might even be able to switch out one of the bigger buses from a different route and put it on that double route so that we don't have to have that double route. I have one in mind, but I don't know, again, right now it's only running about 30 to 35 students, but next year it might blow up.
Be different.
Yeah,
Right.
so I don't want to switch them out and then we'll be in the same boat with a different route. But that's what I'm looking at right now.
And getting the bigger bus is not that big of a deal. It just requires a letter and acknowledgement of why we need it. If you guys remember, we had bus 7, which was a smaller bus prior to getting the new bus 7. But we had to write a letter and stating that our needs have increased, our IEPs have increased, and then we had some wheelchair deals and we couldn't accommodate the wheelchairs. At one time, we were running 4 wheelchairs in that one bus 7, and it was pretty tight. Thank goodness we don't have, I think we had 1 wheelchair, but I think she's now graduated to crutches or braces on her legs, so we don't have to have her in a wheelchair. But anyway, that's why we got bus 7, and it wasn't that big of a deal. It's just letting Antonio Ortiz know what we're doing, what we'd like to do, and just a matter of him saying okey dokey and let's go.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Law conference.
Yeah.
The
Yes, law conference, June 5th through 7th. Amanda's already put all of our names in as a registration, but we need to know who's going. It is school board and myself. June 50 to 7, Embassy Suites. Enrollment last year, yeah.
I can't go.
You cannot go?
No.
Okay,
I'll have an answer for you by Friday.
that's fine.
Thank
Okay.
you. It's gonna be June already. Or
Setting of the next regular session, June 11th, 2025.
But somebody needs it changed for some reason.
June.
June 11th.
11. 1 minute, please.
There's something at the end of June. Or just July now.
My birthday.
No, you have something to do too, and that's in the stuff. Isn't it?
No, that's
that's July.
July 14th or something. That should put us back on our
Regular schedule program. I'm good if you guys are.
Yeah, I'm good at that.
You good?
Yes, I'm good.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
It's been a motion, a second, all